Hey everybody, I'm Kate Dillon.
I'm Jimmy Schultz.
And we are your organizers for the Cars Racing Show. And today, Jimmy, I wanted to talk about why did we choose Hickory, North Carolina for the location for the Cars Racing Show. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, because I live there and it makes it really easy for me.
Okay, that is one of the big points. It is easy that Jimmy can, I'm about an hour from the convention center, but Jimmy, you can just run right by.
Oh, but because when we began to start looking into organizing a trade show, the limiting factor is always the convention center, and you realize that they don't make convention centers equally, nor do they have them in every city, and so we are very fortunate in Hickory to have a what I would consider to be a perfectly sized convention center that's ran by really cool, laid-back people, and that's really easy to get to. There's no parking fees. There's nobody there. You don't have to worry about getting a parking ticket or bringing a truck and trailer. It's going to be easy to get into and all that stuff. Our crime rate is so low that, and we're going to have security at the show and the parking lots and things like that as well. So we don't have to worry about that. And so, but back to the convention center, the convention center to us is perfectly sized, perfectly priced for us to be able to do a show of this quality, what we consider to be an upscale trade show. It would be the same feel as any other of a major trade show that you would go to, if it would be like PRI or SEMA or anything like that. It's going to feel like that, climate controlled, and but also too, we can also keep the booth costs reasonable for our vendors, and make it an affordable atmosphere for them, and then be able to offer it free for our attendees.
And with that, I always like to go with like the Goldilocks Principle. Mm-hmm. It's not too big, not too small. It's like just right. So we don't really want to go with 1 million square feet of trade show space, but like a hotel banquet room isn't enough either. So somewhere in between there is just the right size where a person can come to the show and they can see all of the exhibitors, but not in like 5 minutes.
Right.
Or if it's too big, then you feel like you walked out of there and you missed a lot, or you didn't get to see it all. So we didn't want to go full Disneyland on this. We want to go, like go into the fair. Where you've got just the right amount of everything. Because
location still drives everything. I don't care if you're SEMA or PRI or the Consumer Electronics Show, that some of these major trade shows, that you're going to have, at PRI you're going to have more people from Indiana than you are from Florida. That's just the way it is, and because a lot of people are going to drive in. And so what we know about our show, we know our demographic of our show, that the majority of the people are going to be coming from a 3-hour drive of Hickory. And a 3-hour drive gives us everything on the eastern part of the state, which will be considered to be the Fayetteville type crowd. It's going to give us most of South Carolina, which is going to get us into the Gaffney crowd, even back down into Columbia and the Augusta area down there. It's going to give us the very eastern part of Tennessee, not quite Knoxville-ish type area, but the old Chattanooga, Boyd's area, things like that. And then we're going to go north, and we're going to hit the whole Beckley area of West Virginia, and down into the Southern Virginia, and then the Martinsville crowd for the asphalt guys. Obviously, in Hickory Motor Speedway is only a couple miles from the convention center. So if there's, we know that that's who's going to come to our show, and we're going to expect about 2,500 people, and this convention center is perfect to accommodate that many people. It's going to feel really full, but it's not going to be elbow to elbow, like we're not going to be able to talk to someone, and so that's why we chose Hickory, because weighing all of those things out there, hands down, there's no other area that could provide all of those things for us like what Hickory can.
Well, what's amazing about Hickory too is it's a town of about 100,000 people, I would say, ish, and yet there are more restaurants there than it's crazy. Actually, when I used to live in Hickory, and what they said about it was that it was more people ate out there in the Hickory area than about anywhere else in the country. They would eat out at restaurants more times per capita. Therefore, so many restaurants would show up and be their test market. I mean, we have so many of the restaurants right even within walking distance. You've got Outback and Iron Thunder. Then just across the way, you've got Carrabba's and Hooters. We've got Chili's and Applebee's and Olive Garden, and that's not even counting some of the independent. If you want some good Southern food, J&S Cafeteria.
Well, it's not there anymore, but
it's not.
No,
Darn.
They knocked it down, but there's a hotel that gives great rates now. So,
great.
So no more cafeteria. We don't have a cafeteria in Hickory anymore, but
that makes me
we have
sad.
plenty of the other places. I know.
Yeah,
it's like I showed up one day and I was like, wow, it's not there anymore. They just bulldozed it down.
See, you know that because you live there, and I don't. Yeah.
But if you
tons
go,
of restaurants and shopping.
Shopping, you go right off the back of the convention center. Basically, right across the street is the mall.
You know, and it's one of the malls in the country that actually does operate as a mall. I mean, so many of them are like ghost towns.
Right.
But this one is not a ghost town. It's a vibrant shopping area. You've got the mall in the center. You've got then the big strip centers just flanking it all the way around. So if you're looking for, maybe bringing the family, maybe somebody wants to do a little bit of Christmas shopping, that for the race car, you go to the show. But if it's maybe for the kids, then you can
And
go there.
If it's for the kids, a quick tip here is that the Hampton Inn, which has basically a ramp off the back of the Hampton that's right into the parking lot of the convention center, also has an indoor pool. And I know this because and I'm going to get crucified for this, but I epoxied the concrete floors in my basement storage rooms, and so I actually used a urethane top coat. Well, using urethane inside is not the smartest idea in the world, and so my whole house smelled like urethane for 3 days. So and I didn't expect that. So for 2 days, when we went up and stayed in the Hampton, and we had a big time in the indoor pool there. So, and obviously with it being indoor and we're in December, the kids could certainly enjoy themselves.
See, and you could have gone just with hey, we wanted to have a little staycation, but
yeah, that was a necessary staycation. Don't ever do that, by the way. Don't ever use like a urethane top coat indoors. Yeah. Don't do that.
Staycation.
Yeah.
So yeah, we love Hickory, and it's exit 125 off of I-40. Jimmy, you're really good about talking about how you can get there from the different directions.
Oh, it's super easy. If you're coming from the eastern part of the state, get on I-40. Get off an exit 125, straight shot. If you're coming from East Tennessee, get on I-40. Come I-40 east, straight shot, exit 125. If you're coming from the south, you can either get on I-77 to I-40, or you can get on 321 to I-40, which is basically only at 2 miles from the I-40 321 interchange. If you're coming from the north, like the West Virginia area, just get on 77 south to I-40 in Statesville, and then hit exit 125. And the convention center is right when you get off the exit. It's basically just one turn. The convention center is right there. You don't have to worry about. There's no windy roads or anything like that, and there's no parking fees or anything like that. So it's going to be super easy to get there. And it couldn't be easier. And I've done quite a bit of trade shows with my own business, Dirt Wrap, in the past, and I can tell you that they're not all easy to load and unload, and to get your vehicle there, and worry about if you're going to get a parking ticket, or worry about if somebody's going to steal your rig or anything like that. So you don't have to worry about any of those things there. And as an exhibitor, we have our own people that are going to be there to help you move in and move out as a courtesy to you guys. Super easy. Couldn't be a better place for a laid back, easy atmosphere. If you want to stay, you can obviously stay in one of the 5 hotels that's surrounding the convention center that are all within walking distance, or you can just make it a day trip, and we'd be glad to have you either way.
I really love the legacy of Hickory as well, because Hickory Motor Speedway, of course, only about 2 miles away from the convention center.
Birthplace of the NASCAR stars.
And that is
the real NASCAR stars.
Well, and that is where it started. It was one of the original tracks on the circuit. It's still operating with a lot of asphalt races. Clearly not any of the NASCAR televised races or anything, but you've got a lot of different ones that go there. And I think that also really birthed, it's not only just the birth of the NASCAR stars. I can't even tell you how many racetracks are within a 3 mile or 3 hour radius of Hickory.
Yeah, it's a very interesting atmosphere, because as a dirt racer, there's no track in Hickory, but there's but if you want to travel within 2 to 3 hours, there's a lot of tracks. And so we're in a central location to a lot of things, and accessible to a lot of the areas. So I think it's an ideal location.
Well, and it's also being smaller, it's a lot more accessible. But what's nice is it is only an hour from Charlotte. So if we have any folks that are flying
without having to deal with Charlotte.
Right. So you've got all the Charlotte traffic, and we've seen we're doing a convention center downtown in Charlotte. You end up with parking decks and one-way streets and all of it. We're not going to have any of that being in Hickory, but we've got some folks that are flying in, and that's a pretty easy shot too. To just go probably from there, you'd go I-77 north and west on I-40.
Yeah.
So we're only an hour from Charlotte. So if you're really making a longer trip of it, then on one part of your trip, you could also be in that Charlotte area, and you could see a lot of the race shops, or see even some of these manufacturers. Some of the manufacturers are from that Charlotte area.
Definitely.
And I think it's really cool that we can see some of those NASCAR shops. There's some of those NASCAR shops. It's too far if you're coming just for the show. But if you're making a whole trip out of it, you could do all racing all the time for like a whole week at least.
And if you've never done the NASCAR Hall of Fame, it's a pretty good venue to go and take a look at for once. So
yeah, because it's all interrelated. But Hickory, we love Hickory. We love Hickory. It's a great place for our show. We hope that you want to be there. And there's a couple ways. I mean, if you want to be an attendee, we're offering free registration. Just go to carsracingshow.com and then just click on the register button. And if you're someone who wants to bring your company to be an exhibitor at our show, again, just carsracingshow.com. Click on the link for exhibitors. You'll see our floor plan, all of our pricing, and all of our contact information is on all of this. And we try to make it as easy as possible, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
It would be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. But for as an organizer, and also as a racing business owner, to be able to see all the people, and we also do a lot of B2B stuff too. So it's going to be really nice to be able to have a couple hours there each day to be able to talk to other exhibitors and vendors and things like that. So it just makes us all better.
All of us. Excellent. We hope you can make it. If you have any questions, feel free to drop in a comment or hit us up individually, and we will be happy to answer those for you. Thank you so much for watching.
Right. Winners do trade shows.
Yes.